Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamiru Nimsa. Let's have a look at the headlines. World Bank predicts slight economic growth for Sri Lanka next year. Central Bank cuts policy rates with hopes of potential growth. News in detail. World Bank says that Sri Lanka's economy will contract 3.8% in 2023 and could grow by 1.7% in 2024, but there were significant downside risks. World Bank's this forecast came at a time of Sri Lanka's inflation has come down to single digits and foreign reserves were slightly going up. An official from the World Bank office Sri Lanka said that the outlook is clouded by significant uncertainty and downside risks exists. He also added that growth prospects will depend on progress with debt restructuring as well as the continued implementation of growth-enhancing structural reforms. World Bank office also added that Sri Lanka has to continue the structural reform momentum to boost long-term growth, and the country also had to boost tax revenues, he said, though a primary surplus has been achieved. At around 9% of Sri Lanka had some of the lowest revenues in South Asia along with Bangladesh. Inflation has come down to single digits. There has been this monetary easing in conjunction with clarity on domestic debt restructuring. They also added that Sri Lanka has a flexible exchange rate which is highly unstable and collapses from time to time amid aggressive open market operations to enforce below market rates, according to critics. Maldives has the soundest money in the region where monetary activists and printing money for growth is not seen and domestic stability is externally anchored to the US dollar like some East Asian nations. Nepal and Bhutan have similar regimes but are anchored to the Indian rupee, which is a relatively unstable currency compared to the US dollar, though Sri Lanka-style crisis can be avoided by the tactic analysts. Sri Lanka's central bank has cut policy rates by 100 basis points to 10 and 11% amid concerns over the reserve collections to push inflation up to 5% and reach potential growth. The aim was to push inflation up to the envisaged 5% level in the medium term, thereby enabling the economy to reach its potential growth. The central bank in its October policy report says that the board arrived at this decision following a careful analysis of the current and expected developments, including low inflation and benign inflation expectations in the domestic economy. It also adds that the board expects that this reduction of policy interest rates, along with the significant easing of monetary policy effected previously, including the directions issued by the central bank to licensed banks to reduce interest rates. It further adds that the significant reduction of risk premium on government securities would accelerate the downward adjustment in market interest rates, particularly lending rates, in the period ahead. CBSL data also showed that foreign reserves fell to $3.5 billion in September, and there were one-off events like domestic debt optimization and the repayment of a swap to Bangladesh. Further concerns have been raised by the International Monetary Fund also at the slow pace of reserve accumulation over several months. Analysts have pointed out that reserve accumulation needs rates higher than domestic credit, and the currency could come under pressure if rate cuts are enforced with reverse repo injections. Rates can generally fall when private credit is contracting and budget deficits improve in the first year of an IMF program, and cutting rates while private credit picks up has led to missed reserve targets in the past. Falling historical 12-month inflation had proved to be bad guide to cut rates in 2015 and 2018, triggering balance of payments deficits and leading to currency crisis, bloated debt, lower growth and lower tax collection as stability is denied to the economy. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Weerasinghe says that the benefits from the CBSL decision to reduce the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate by 100 basis points to 10% and 11% should definitely go to the general public. Addressing the monthly press briefing last evening, Central Bank Governor said that they would monitor how the banks would work on it and unless they compromise will take due actions.
And also to bring down interest rates further, first I think you still need to see market interest rates, especially for lending rates, to come down even at a faster rate than the guidance that we have given under early Monroe Act order. This adjustment, this policy measure will help banks to bring down those rates at a faster rate going forward. That will help the economy or credit flows more into the economy for the industries and SME and others. So that will also help to support the recovery process And then in terms of growth, we expect this second half most probably we will record a positive quarterly basis. Commercial banks are basically, I think, recently some bankers told there's no big demand for rupee-denominated trade. That's this rupee INR we have already designated as a designated currency, and there are roster accounts opened by local commercial bank with some Indian banks. But still, I think transactions happen in US dollar largely.
Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The Sri Lanka Gem and Jewellery Association, in collaboration with the National Gem and Jewellery Authority and the Export Development Board, announced Facets Sri Lanka. The premier Gem and Jewellery exhibition is scheduled to be held from 6 to 8 January next year. A media briefing on this regard was held at a popular hotel in Colombo yesterday. The SLGA, which was formed in 2002, is the apex body for gem and jewellery industry in Sri Lanka, and it represents all subsectors of the industry. Over the years, Facets have served as meeting point for the global gem and jewellery sector, attracting players from across the globe. Since its inception in 1991, Facets Sri Lanka has thrived for 30 years, solidifying Sri Lanka's reputation on the global stage as a premier destination for precious gems and jewellery. This year's Facets will include the Premier Gem Pavilion, Sustainable Pavilion, Sapphire Masterpiece Pavilion, Rough Stone Pavilion, Gem Lab Pavilion and a Jewellery Pavilion.
The primary objective of the show is to promote exports and aid industry development, with special emphasis on the industry's prime resource, Ceylon sapphire, as well as to increase sales of other gemstones and jewelry products to overseas markets and attract more international buyers to Sri Lanka. I am happy to state that local gem and jewelry trade has benefited immensely owing to the Facets by expanding the trade to a global reach.
Speaking at the event, the chairman of the Export Development Board, Dr. Kingsley Bernard, said that promoting ethical mining, best practices and sustainability is the ideal way to take Sri Lankan gem and jewellery to the global market.
Gem and Jewellery Association is intended to increase our exports, and especially they want to bring in craft stones from abroad and make use of them in promoting the hub concept in Sri Lanka. So that is one of the best ways of promoting and improving our export earnings. Further, we are famous and well reputed for ethical mining. So this is one slogan then that we can use in our exhibitions and our promotional activities. Best practices, ethical mining, sustainability. I think those are the key words in promoting our gem industry. Further, we can look at awareness of adding value. We are fortunate with gems, but if you look at value addition, I think there is a lot more to be done. So we at the EDB is promoting value addition in all our exports.
The Sri Lankan College of Physicians and renowned baby care brand Baby Sherami have jointly taken on the mantle of highlighting the preventable nature of accidents amongst children. The partnership aims to raise awareness of the dangers that lurk in the environment for children in an attempt to reduce the rising number of accidents. The launch of the partnership was held in Colombo yesterday. The College of Community Physicians of Sri Lanka is the main professional body in the field of community medicine. The institution works to improve the health of the Sri Lankan public through various innovative projects. It has been promoting public health initiatives and providing high-quality care throughout the country. Injuries have been ranked 3 among the first 5 leading causes of death amongst children. The leading causes have been identified as transport accidents, drowning, falls, burns and poisoning. The nature of injuries ranges from external injuries, dog bites, fractures, dislocations, and so on. Injured children suffer from long-term disability and chronic pain that limit their ability to perform age-appropriate everyday activities over their lifetimes.
ඒ දත්ත තුලින් තමයි සංවේදනයක් ඇති කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට මේ සම්බන්ධ පර්යේෂණ අපේ හරිම අවමයි මේ සම්බන්ධ රිසර්ච්. වෙනත් රටවල් වල ළමා අනතුරු පිළිබඳ රිසර්ච් තොගයක් කරනවා. ඉතින් අපි අපේ විද්වතුන් මේ සඳහා යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊළඟට මේකට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අපේ සෞඛ්‍ය පද්ධතිය සූදානම් කරන්න ඕනේ. අපි හිතුවොත් යමක් හිරවුණු උගුරේ හිරවුණු ළමයෙකුට මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක අපේ වෛද්‍ය සිසුන්ගේ පාඨමාලාව වලට ඇතුළත් කළේ නැත්නම් කවදාවත් ඒගොල්ලෝ දැනගන්නේ නැහැ. ඊළඟට මේ සඳහා ජාතික ප්‍රතිපත්ති ඇති කරන්න ඕනේ.
Stay tuned for the sub-update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today.
The all-share price index dropped 55.83 to close at 10,987.12, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 12.02 to close at 3,100.80. The turnover was 0.6 billion rupees and over 21 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook.